Steve, you said a lot of things that are very important. This campaign comes down to, in my estimation, two simple things: integrity and experience. You know, there are several people that want to be sheriff of Peoria County. Integrity and experience. Integrity is up to what people think about someone, so we'll let that one go. Let's talk about experience. How about a young guy who works with his family, goes to 4 years in the Army, comes back at age 22, goes to work at the Peoria County Sheriff's Office as a correctional officer, works his way through, becomes a sergeant and a correctional officer, decides he wants to become a deputy, takes a test, he becomes a deputy, he works on the road, he wants to do better. What he does, he becomes a detective. He becomes a detective and excels. Comes time to appoint an undersheriff in 2002 to run the Peoria County Jail. Brian Asbell was the clear choice. He's done it all at the sheriff's office. He knows how to do it all, and he does it with class, and he does it with dignity. And when you take a look upon the experience that's required, so you have a jail, which I think is probably one of the most important things at the sheriff's office. Then you have 648 square miles to patrol. Then you have an airport. Then you have a courthouse. Then you have civil process. Then you have evictions. It's not a job for somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. It's a job for the right guy. And I'm here to tell you that Brian Asbell is the right guy. You know, when you get to be sheriff, sometimes it gets to be lonely. Trust me. Trust me. But one thing that I could always do was, Brian was always willing to come in and sit, and I could run things by Brian. And I can tell you that one of the reasons why he and I were such good friends and he's the right guy for this job is I know how he thinks, I know why he thinks, why he does, and he's thinking the right way. So when you talk to all your friends, and this is not, I agree with Steve, this is not going to be a cakewalk. The opponent has got a lot of money getting behind him, but that's one-time money. We've got people. We've got good people and good friends. You got to go out. You got to take people to the polls. You got to help get them to the polls, and you can't wait till a year from now to start. You have to start today, telling everybody you can, because this guy is the right guy to be sheriff, and I'm glad he's the sheriff. We got to keep him as sheriff. And it's my privilege to introduce Sheriff Brian Asbell.
So many people to thank tonight, but Mike, Steve, thank you both for those kind words. It's truly appreciated. There's so many people to thank. I do want to acknowledge the Weaver family for your hospitality. Thank you. And my own family. My wife, Erica. My boys aren't here tonight. They're both in college, or they would be here. But my siblings, all of my sisters, good percentage of this room. But my parents, Fred and Brenda's here. Raise your hand. Thank you. I do want to give a big thank you to especially my wife, Erica, and my sister, Maggie, for putting this all together. It was a lot of work, and they've done a wonderful job, so thank you both. I'm here tonight to formally announce I will be a candidate in the 2018 election for Peoria County Sheriff. Peoria County is my home. My family has lived here for generations. I come from a large farm family. I'm one of 8 kids. Our parents taught us the value of hard work and the definition of integrity at a very young age. And this is the values that pushed me to go into public service. And I've been a public servant for my entire adult life. I enlisted in the Army when I was 17 years old, and I've been serving either this country or this county ever since. After the Army, I began my career at the Sheriff's Office. I was 22 years old, and I navigated my way through the ranks, and I learned every job, every duty, either by working it or managing the duties within the Sheriff's Office. It was because of this experience and knowledge, the county board selected me last month to be the 56th Sheriff of Peoria County. And this was a unanimous vote, which is huge. But this appointment was humbling, but it reinforced the fact I was the best candidate who had the education and institutional knowledge to manage the largest department in Peoria County government. It's for the same reasons I'm standing before you today as the best choice for Sheriff of Peoria County. It takes a lot more than being a police officer to be a sheriff. Illinois statute clearly defines the duties and responsibilities of a sheriff. And they are: the sheriff is the warden of the jail. The sheriff is responsible for the security of the courthouse. The sheriff is conservator of peace and director of public safety. And the sheriff is responsible for all service of warrants, process, orders, and judgments. So in saying this, Illinois law defines a sheriff's job description. I can check each one of these boxes. The other opponents will not be able to do that. Illinois law defines which divisions we have at the Sheriff's Office. And that's our Corrections Division, our Patrol Division, Court Security, Civil Process. Most people in Peoria County, when they think of the Sheriff's Office, the only thing they think of is our Patrol Division. But in reality, our Patrol Division is less than 25% of our total workforce. And they do a wonderful job. They're second to none. I'm proud to be their sheriff. But when you look at the big picture, that is less than 25% of our workforce. The Corrections Division is actually the largest. It has the most employees. It has the biggest part of our budget. It has the most inherent risk. The Corrections Division also has a large amount of contract workers. And people don't realize this, but the sheriff is also in charge of these contract workers, and you must be able to manage this element of the workforce. This is healthcare. This is doctors, nurses, mental health professionals, psychiatrists, dentists, in addition to teachers, maintenance workers, clergy, tons of volunteers. So your sheriff has to wear so many different hats, not just being a police officer. A sheriff has to be proficient in a wide variety of disciplines. I have dedicated my life to learn all of the disciplines within the sheriff's office. I've obtained all the necessary certifications to legally work in all the disciplines of the sheriff's office. I'm a certified police officer. I was a deputy. I'm a certified investigator. I spent many years as a detective for our agency. I'm a juvenile officer. I'm a corrections officer. I'm one of 3 certified jail managers in the state of Illinois. One of 3. I'm proud of that because it took a lot of work and dedication to get that accomplishment. So thank you. But even saying this, with all the knowledge and experience, I am fully aware of the challenges facing both the Sheriff's Office and our community. And these issues will be the focal point of my administration. The issues are the economy and the ever-decreasing budget, behavioral health issues, which are both mental illness as well as addictions, community relations, the tone of distrust in law enforcement, I understand each of these issues, and I pledge I will work each and every day to conquer these challenges. Let's start with the budget. A decreasing budget requires us to do more with less. That's the facts. But this is where my institutional knowledge will come into play. It's imperative to know all the job functions and requirements to balance operations and meet all the duties and legal responsibilities which is required by the sheriff. Strong leadership and a team approach is a must when the budget's reduced. And but tonight, with all the men and women from the sheriff's office here, I'm honored. And I can honestly say I have that internal support and I have that respect from our employees. And we'll navigate through this tough economic time together as a team. We'll get the job done. The opiate epidemic continues to grow. The level of mental illness in our jail is overwhelming. I will continue to work hand in hand with our partners in law enforcement, the Peoria City Police Department. I'll work with our hospitals. I'll work with the Human Service Center. I'll work with social service agencies to continue to combat both of these issues. We will hunt down the drug dealers and we will disrupt the sale of heroin and other drugs on our streets. But we will also continue education programs and awareness, as well as treatment solutions both in custody and out of custody. The jail has become the largest mental health institution downstate Illinois. It has. I have devoted my last 8 years as superintendent to having full-time mental health staff, and we'll continue this. The goal is to have 24-hour staff there for all the mental health issues we have. But I'm also going to concentrate on streamlining reentry programs to assist with treatment post-release. Programs like Jobs Partnership, which teach detainees employment skills and conflict resolution, will remain and actually expand. All of these efforts is to make our community better. These efforts, the intent is to reduce recidivism. I pledge I'll start tearing down the wall of distrust that's being built between our citizens and our law enforcement officers. I've already started building a jail advisory committee that will be a group of many stakeholders from our community. And these stakeholders will be involved in helping us build strong policies. These stakeholders will be involved with advisement for future programs and services for our detainees. My motto has been and always will be actions, not words. I lead by example. I'm the first one in the morning. I'm typically the last one to go home at night. True? I've always put the needs of this community and the needs of our employees in front of my own. And when I'm not working, I'm still working. She'll testify to that. But when I'm not working, my off-duty time, I devote my time to education and learning best practices for this industry. So in saying this, I'll conclude by making this last statement. It's actually the same thing I started with. This county is my home. This county is the home of my friends and my family. I love this community. I love the employees of the Sheriff's Office. And I will do everything in my power to make Peoria County a safe and prosperous place to live. I have the same wants and desires as everyone in this room. And that's to live in safety, to live in a just society, to drive on safe roads. And I just don't want to do this for us, but I want to do it for our children and the children of our children. And it's for these reasons I am your sheriff. I've served this nation as a soldier. I've served this county for the past 22 years as a member of the sheriff's office. And I'll be honored to serve each and every one of you and this community as your sheriff. I thank you for this day.